Welcome to the lecture on gram-positive bacteria. We'll do gram-positive bacteria, and then we'll do gram-negative bacteria, and we'll be all done with our prokaryotic lessons. Alright, so the first major organizations for gram-positive bacteria are low G plus C gram-positive bacteria. Low G plus C. What does that mean? That means we are dealing with low guanine and cytosine content in their DNA. Okay, so um, just it's another type of distinction from gram-negative and gram-positive. We can start to organize these bacteria in such a way that makes sense to us based on their unique chemistries. Okay, so any low G plus C or GC gram bacteria will be in this group. And I've highlighted the ones that you are going to want to know for the exam and for the practical. Okay. Um, so let's get to it. So Clostridia, rod-shaped obligate anaerobes, and these form endospores. Okay, we don't have Clostridia in the lab, but we want to make sure that we know them because they form endospores. Mycoplasmas are unique, very unique. They do not have a cell wall. Okay? And most of them do not like oxygen. Okay? So obligate anaerobe, we'll see, they tend to live without oxygen. That's what this means. Anaerobe, they are living without oxygen. They're the smallest free living cells. That wouldn't be bacteria. So there is a question of ranking sizes of things. Viruses would be the smallest, then mycoplasmas, then bacteria, then all the way over here would be a eukaryotic cell. Okay, so if you want to kind of keep that scale in your head, it would definitely help you. Okay, so mycoplasmas lack a cell wall. That's very unique, very important to remember that mycoplasmas lack a cell wall. Another type of low GC gram-positive bacteria is the Bacillus family. Most of them are just found in the soil, but also they form endospores. Okay, so these are the ones that we need to look out for. Bacillus cereus can grow in our cereals. Okay, cereals. Okay, and that's where we get the term cereus from the god Ceres, the god of agriculture, is where we get that term from. So B. cereus or B. thuringiensis can both form endospores. Okay, and of note, Bacillus anthracis causes anthrax. You might have heard of anthrax spores being delivered in the mail in the 90s or the early 2000s or somewhere around there. Well, those spores are the endospores that we keep talking about. Okay, so the ones in the mail that you breathe that are toxic are the spores. Our final, well, next to final group of GC positive bacteria are called other bacilli. And we have Listeria. Listeria is very important in pregnant women. If you're reading a case study on pregnant woman eats X, pregnant woman eats X, or has yogurt, drinks milk, bologna, sausages, any kind of pregnant woman and food is most likely going to be Listeria. You want to remember Listeria. It has, and we even mentioned it with the phage therapy where they want to rid Listeria using a bacteriophage, the virus, and then we'll talk about that in the next lecture. Finally, we have lactobacillus. On this page we have lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is very important in women's health. It's found in yogurt. It's very, very useful. And it doesn't truly cause disease, but it can. In fact, most of the time you want to feed lactobacillus rather than get rid of it. Again, especially in women's health. Um, all right, and we have our final low G plus C gram-positive bacteria, and these are the cocci. Okay, we have Streptococcus and Staphylococcus. We kind of talked about those already in class, strep throat and a staph infection, and that is based on their arrangements of being a chain or a branch, right? Cluster of grapes. Okay, those aren't the best drawings, but my touch pen isn't the best. All right, but staph and strep are low GC gram-positive bacteria, and Enterococcus are a part of diseases that can be found in the stool, okay, and part of diseases. Our next and final categorization that we're going to want to know is high GC gram-positive bacteria. Since we had low GC, it's kind of makes sense that we have high GC, but we don't have as many that we need to remember. Corneobacterium, again, is a bacterium that's on us a lot. It's in our eyes, it's on our skin, but we want to know it anyway. Mycobacterium acid-fast. This is a different type of bacteria also, very similar to mycoplasmas, in that they are unique and they stain a little bit differently. And so you're going to want to know that there is a term called acid-fast bacteria that is high GC gram-positive bacteria. Finally, we have actinomyces, which kind of resemble fungi, and that's even in their name, myces. And so they look like fungi filaments, but they are actually bacteria, and you can tell that because they don't have eukaryotic structures. Eukaryotic structures being mitochondria, being Golgi bodies, being a nucleus, being a bunch of other structures that this would not have, that a fungus would have. What's another example that you can think of that might make it look different under a microscope? You can go ahead and pause it if you want to think about it. The other difference would be the scale of it. The scale of a prokaryote is going to be much smaller. So if you're looking at something 1,000 times and it's still this small, most of the time that's a prokaryote. If you looked at a eukaryote at 1,000 times, it'd probably take up that whole screen, or at least half of it. All right, and our next video will be gram-negative bacteria, and we will end our discussions on prokaryotes.